disaster.
I agree too. No worries, Void. This was not, we didn't really plan it. We weren't going to go live tonight, but we thought we should do a highlight.
A lot of people obviously weren't there for the whole of the live stream, and if they're going to miss some, they were likely to miss the midnight sections. So, since that was mostly stuff that I did, I figured I'd do a little summary of some of the highlights.
I better check the dog. I just heard him bark.
Because I did open a whopping total of 4 booster boxes of different types of cards over the course of that night. Some of which I've been saving for over a year, waiting for an opportunity, and some of which I just was planning on doing shortly anyway. So, it was a lot of opening, and I did get some interesting stuff. Overall, not nearly as much good luck as Angela had with the Pokemon before, and even a little bit after, in the first section and the fourth. But actually, her luck in the fourth wasn't as good as the first section. But the first section, she had amazing luck.
Oh yeah. I put the the Giratina away.
Yeah.
But nobody's really here yet.
No.
Did I do this? Oh no. Did I do it already? Yeah, I did. Void saw it.
Yeah, you did, but who knows? Maybe it's another private live stream.
No.
Those worked really well. And
that was hilarious.
Yeah. In any case, we've got some Magic and some Lord of the Rings. I guess I can do it chronologically. I've got a little bit less to say about the early stuff. Most people, that was our biggest turnout for people to watch anyway.
Oh,
but I started off with Magic the Gathering, Universes Beyond, Tales of Middle-earth, The Lord of the Rings, which I still think is only going to be their first foray. I think they're going to do a Tales of Middle-earth, The Hobbit, or some other, they're going to revisit that property at some point. It was just too profitable for them to turn that down, I think. But yeah, first time I'd opened one of the one of the Realms and Relics box toppers, and I got a good one. I wouldn't say it's one of the best ones, but not one of the super chase ones, but it's definitely not a disaster, and it's a card that I don't think I ever had before. I remember Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth that turns all lands into swamps, but this is a card, Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, that I don't know if I'd ever seen, or I certainly don't own another version of it anyway. So that was a nice one to get. Good looking card. Yeah, I think it sure is. You get good old Treebeard there. The Lord of Fangorn.
Hey Broly, welcome in.
Pippin thought he saw the grove of trees.
Looks like a ghost rare.
Moving.
I don't know what a ghost rare is, but
I'm not sure. But basically it was box topper for the Lord of the Rings set. There were 30 different cards you could get in those, and so this is the first one I ever got because I'd never opened a box of that before. So that's a happy one to get. Some other highlights from the box. I did get another foil here of a mythic rare, Sauron the Dark Lord. Let's see if I can catch the light and some of that flame behind him. It's a little tricky to get on camera, but this is the foil version, and it does look pretty neat. And as a mythic, it's worth a couple bucks. I didn't get too many holes filled in, really, in the set. I was hoping I would get more of the cards I was missing to plug a few more holes. I did get a couple, but not as many as I was hoping. I didn't get the One Ring, which was I've never pulled that from a pack. I still hope to one day, but it wasn't then. I got a lighted halfling, just a good little playing card, worth probably over $10, handy. This was probably the biggest value card I got, surprisingly. The Orcish Bowmasters continues to surprise me. Very playable card for Magic the Gathering. Are we mirrored again? It looks mirrored on here. I can't read it. Anyone watching, can you read this card?
Here, let me see. Remember we did something?
Yeah, but...
There. It should be good now.
Is it?
It's going to take me a bit to see. No, it didn't work. That time didn't work.
I think it was great the first time, and then we just flipped it the other way. I don't know.
Just a second. Sorry.
Oh, no. We flipped
it. There you go.
I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry, guys.
don't know. Can we read? Can we not read?
We had it working at one point,
but
and then
it's a
something
strong
happened.
card. It's good for a lot of things. I got another couple of commander cards. That's part of the set I'm not really collecting, but I did get the Sam partner to go with the Frodo one, which I'd had before, so that was nice. This is one I had pulled out just because I thought it was new to me, but when I went to put it in my binder, no, I did have this already, so
I don't
it
know.
wasn't.
We had it working again. I thought we figured it out, and then I don't know.
But yeah, it wasn't a great box, to be honest, of the Magic Tales of Middle-earth for me. I did get another Nazgul, so that brings me up to 8. You need a playset of 9, and obviously I wouldn't mind having extras to actually just stay in the set binder. But yeah, I've still just got the 6 pictures. It wasn't a new picture, and it was, but it does bring me up to an 8th total.
You did.
Oh yes, my hair is just yes.
Haircut.
I should flip that thing. Anyway, but like I said, it was a big highlight for me getting my first of the Realms and Relics, and it's a decent one. And I did get a few other pretty good cards. So it wasn't a complete bust by any means. Maybe we'll try it again someday.
I went to bed for most of the Star Trek portion.
Yeah, but she did stay up for the Lord of the Rings. So
of course.
After we did that, we tackled some of the Decipher Lord of the Rings.
Should we flip it so you can just see your hands?
In the entire box of the Decipher Lord of the Rings, I was doing it to try to fill out a set. The only cards I had for the set were from the 2 pre-constructed starter decks, which each come with 3 randomized rares. So of those 3 randomized rares, the first 3 packs, of the 6 total randomized rares, the first 3 packs we opened from that booster box all had duplicate rares that I had already had from my starter decks. So that was a bit of a disappointing start. But other than that, didn't get another duplicate rare from that point after. Did a lot to fill out that set binder. There's still, I would say, what would you say? It's over half now of the set? It must be. I think we got most of the commons, probably more than half of the uncommons, and then a good smattering of rares in there. I've got another box of that, sequential, that comes after, so probably within the next month we'll find a time to open that one and continue to fill out the set.
Maybe
for people who are familiar with Decipher's Lord of the Rings, foils were a much bigger deal back at that time. They made whole sets, reflection sets, around the whole concept of getting your favorite cards in foil. And those reflection sets would have a foil in every pack. That was something really special. Early sets didn't have foils in every pack. Let me tell you, for Magic, same thing. For Pokemon, I don't think wasn't a foil in every pack back then. So in a whole booster box, 36 packs, we hit the exact statistical average. We got 6 foil cards, and the distribution for rarity was spot on as well. 3 commons, 3 uncommons, and 3 commons, 2 uncommons, and 1 rare. So I'll go through those quickly because that's where there are cards that are worth quite a bit if they're maybe $20 and down range, depending on how sought they are for a combination of collectors and players. Yeah, let's flip it, and then I can show.
Sorry, that's our ceiling.
Show the highlights.
Isn't it ugly?
That way a little bit more easily.
Oh, come on. There we go.
There we go.
It's Charizard.
Big stinking Charizard. There we are. So here were our 4 common foils. We got a Goblin Patrol Troop. And that, his eyes glint in the... They did a good job with these foils where the whole card isn't foiled. It's just certain highlights. Then we've got Uruk Rager.
What the heck is
Nice glinty helmet.
What does that common have to do with...
I don't know.
Yeah, let's just... it's not needed here.
And there's our other common, the Ring's Oppression. Now this one's neat because it is an actual ring card with the foily ring, which is nice. But it's not the ring. And there's 2 versions of the One Ring in this set. A common one and a rare one. We opened several of the common. Well, at least 2 anyway.
I like that art.
I forget. But we haven't.
Nice.
I've never opened one. Had one of the rare, the One Ring yet. So
This is a family-friendly channel, and honestly, you don't need to be insulting anybody. If you're not gonna stop, you can leave. We don't need this here.
yeah, it's a family channel, and we often have our kids with us, and we just want to keep it family friendly. That's all. I think that's understandable.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna remove that comment too, because we don't need to be insulting people.
In any case.
And if you make one more comment, I'm just gonna block you. We don't need that stuff here.
Well, if you learn to be friendly, that's another matter, but,
yeah.
That's fine. Anyway, so these were the 3 commons. I got the Goblin Patrol Troop, the Uruk Rager, and the Rings of Oppression. All evil culture cards.
Thanks, James.
I'll just lay these out for now. For reference, the 2 uncommons. First of all, we got an uncommon sight, and most of the sights are uncommon.
No, this is not Magic. It's Decipher, right? The Decipher game?
This one's the Decipher game. We went over some of the highlights from our Magic box before. So we had
James, it's
Fangorn Forest as our box stopper. We got a foil Sauron the Dark Lord in that, and then a couple of other nice rares. But overall, slightly disappointing box. Not a complete bust, but not as good as I was hoping for either filling out sets or for value of cards. Either way, not saying I'd never do it again, but it certainly didn't pan out as well as I was hoping, and certainly didn't have as good luck as Angela did with the Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I just
put
it in the chat.
Anyway. Yeah, so this one is a foil Pillars of the Kings, one of the foil uncommons, so we got 2 of these. And honestly, I think locations are always great to get in foil. A lot of people like that for their decks. Yeah, this is Lord of the Rings by Decipher. The first set they ever came out with, Fellowship of the Ring. We opened a box of that. And we may open some more in the future here, in the not too distant future, because I'm trying to build out at least most of that first set. It's when the game really was best with its theming. I think it was pretty good through most of Movie Block. And our other uncommon here, the Black Breath. So this is a Ringwraith card, and you can see the foiled gauntlet hand reaching for Frodo as he's fleeing. It's pretty nice. So this one is probably worth a few bucks because I guess it sees play in some decks or something. Yeah, it's the second.
I like the
second most valuable of the cards we pulled anyway. Pattern. Yeah.
Mostly Yu-Gi-Oh and Marvel stuff. Okay, nice. You have some Marvel stuff. You should do a night going over your Marvel stuff. Or is it the Versus stuff? I mean.
Versus stuff?
That's Marvel, isn't it?
Yeah, I plan to do a Versus discussion one day. The Versus system was a fun game, and it fixed some of the problems about getting stuck with mana. Yeah, which Magic had and a bunch of other similar card games had at the time. Now, this was our one rare foil that we got out of the whole box, and we got a main character.
It's Gimli. I love
It
Gimli.
is Gimli. And most of the foiling comes on elements around the border here, but you got the background, and then you've got some of the little hair ties and stuff in his beard and things that listen. So it's a nice looking card. It's a main character. I'm fairly pleased with it. Definitely not a bust. And yeah, this was probably the highlight of the night in terms in terms of value.
Yes. I love him.
In terms of value, most valuable card in that Lord of the Rings section that we pulled, it was one of these 2. And which one is more valuable will probably vary a bit depending who you talk to. I've seen estimates for the Gimli foil at about $60, Orcish Bowmaster.
And we're talking in Canadian dollars, because
no, actually, the price I saw that was it was a U.S. price.
Oh, there you go.
It's probably worth a hair more than the Orcish Bowmasters which usually I see prices anywhere ranging from 30 to 70, but most typically around 50, and it's been up and down, and it will continue to be for a while. So this one is old enough that the price is getting fairly stabilized, I would say. There's still enough demand to keep it going. They haven't crashed or anything, so yeah. But these are probably my 2 highlights from the 2 different games in terms of value pulls. But I do like the the Fang 1/4 just because it was my first ever box topper.
That is a nice art. I like it a lot.
So, but yeah, that was our, again, sort of the highlights from the Lord of the Rings section.
And if you're interested in seeing more about it, feel free to go rewatch.
Yeah, they're still up if anyone's feeling like a marathon.
Yeah.
So then we transitioned over to Star Trek, and we started off with Alternate Universe. So Alternate Universe is a funny set. It was very much a set designed to complement Premiere. So the Premiere set is based just around Star Trek The Next Generation, and so is Alternate Universe. Excuse me. And both of them were fairly heavily overprinted. Also, in Alternate Universe, the distribution of cards was very wonky. One thing I was very happy to get was Montgomery Scott and multiple of him, because he's always been one of my favorite characters. And as far as the commons go in this set, this is one of the best ones. He's a double engineer, got some useful skills, and like I said, just one of my favorite characters. And he's a common. Usually in Premiere and in most of the other sets that came afterwards, you have a lot of non-unique characters who fill out the commons to a much greater degree. In Alternate Universe, there are only 2 character cards in the whole common slot. Scotty's one of them, and the other one is a Targ, which is an animal. It gives a nice little buff to Klingons. It helps fight, Rogue Borg strategy a little bit, but it's nothing too special. There's also one common ship, which you get multiple copies of if you're opening a bunch. It was a set that I think was designed really that you were only going to open maybe 6 to 8 packs and then call it a day. You were never meant to open as much as a box. There is an ultra rare in there, and I'm not sure how many boxes statistically you have to open to get one, but I'm guessing it's something like 4 boxes. We did not get lucky in the sense of pulling the Future Enterprise, the ultra rare, but I've got some extra Scotties which I can use as throw-ins on giveaways if we do more Star Trek stuff. It's nice to get an extra character even if he's not worth much. Useful cards like the Alternate Universe Doorway lets you bring out some other stuff. A spare outpost that anyone can use. Yellow Alert was to try to combat Red Alert, didn't work so well. A little bit more variety in your dilemmas. All this was in common, so you'd get those cards very frequently if you bought even just a few packs. There aren't that many commons, I guess, in the set, and they're 15 card packs. You get 3 uncommons, 1 rare, 11 commons in a pack. So you blow through that list of commons pretty quickly. Here's a few of the more interesting uncommons. So we got more than one copy of most of these as well. You get a very underpowered version of Picard. Lieutenant Junior Grade Picard, Alternate Universe, from when he saved himself in his youth from being stabbed in the heart and stopped taking risks. So he just settled into a science job. Some people think this card's a rare because Picard's on it, but no, it's not. It's just an uncommon. Tama, nice little ship. Only 2 staffing requirements for stats that, at the time, were only found on ships that needed 3 staffing requirements. Richard Castillo from a famous episode. He was the helmsman aboard the Enterprise C. To then gives a nice little bonus to your Romulans without treachery, so I think it's playable. Captain's Log became quite important later on as you got more ships with their matching captains available. +3 shields and weapons is a significant little buff. Senior staff meeting. I've heard some people thought this card was too strong and tried to ban it. Anyway, once you got the 5 main officer types, or staff personnel types, I should say, officer, engineer, medical, science, and security, basically you get a buy on the first dilemma you encounter attempting a mission. So that's pretty nice. It's one use only, being an interrupt, obviously, but there are 2 other types you can find. You can also find VIPs and civilians in the base set, And then this set, like you saw with the Targ, which was back in the commons pile, included animals as well. So there are some other less common typings which sometimes pop up as well. More dilemmas, Cardassian
You should go over your triple set sometime.
I plan
could be
to.
fun.
Actually, that's the next box I plan to open. Is
Oh,
I
you
plan to do
okay.
Trouble with Tribbles. I've got a box ready to open. I've already completed the set myself, so
That's
I'm
just gonna be
planning
for
on
fun.
it'll be for fun and for
Giveaway?
some giveaways.
Ooh.
So I'm anxious to dig into Trouble with Tribbles as the
Well, we're
next
gonna have
Star
to-
Trek set that I do an opening for.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me exactly when you want to do it. We're gonna have to like get it pre-set up and like and make sure that we tell people about it for like a week.
Maybe like I don't know. It'll probably be
Maybe
like
do some short videos.
I don't know if we'll have time to do it. No, we can't do it next week because I'm working night shifts.
Yeah.
But maybe the week after that, we'll aim for or something like that.
Okay.
Here's a few of the highlight rares we got. Now the rares in this set are all not high value, but there are some interesting ones for gameplay and for theme. The only card in this set that really has value is the ultra rare. You pull that Future Enterprise, you've more than paid for your box.
How many packs did you have to open to finish the triple set?
How many packs?
Yeah.
My brother and I opened a case, so
Okay.
6 boxes. Each box, I think, is 36 packs.
And you just like.
And we were short 2 rares.
Also, you had to buy them.
So even trading back and forth the 6 boxes, we were still short 2 rares to finish the set, which I had to go out and find singles for.
Wouldn't that be crazy if? It was
sometimes the distribution from Decipher could be a little wonky, for sure.
Would you laugh if they ended up being in that booster box?
Yeah, a little bit, but it wouldn't shock me either. We did, in those 6 boxes for that set, get 4 copies of the Ultra Rare for that set. So, the Dr. McCoy, great luck with that. We ended up with 6 of him, and he's a very strong card. Anyway, so we got the Feckler.
Oh.
This ship has got a lot of range, a lot of staffing requirements too, so it's tough to get going, but once you do, a lot of range, good weapons, okay shields. It's got cloaking device, holodeck, and tractor beam. Very capable ship once you get it going. We got a version of Worf as a former member of the Klingon High Council and leader in the Klingon Empire. So he's still got lots of his skills from his Premier Federation card, but tweaked a little bit for his role with the Klingon Empire. We got Beverly Picard, alternate version of Beverly Crusher, who married Picard and now captains her own medical ship. And now she's an officer, plus double medical leadership and biology. Very usable version of the character.
In the TV show, didn't they end up making them, like, they actually were in a relationship at one point and had a child together? I stopped watching after the first season, so I don't know. The Picard show.
They had a couple little alternate things. It was never really a permanent fixture, I don't recall.
No, I'm talking about in the Picard show.
Oh, in Picard's show. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of details about that show, to be honest. And then we've got Rachel Garrett in the Enterprise C. Castillo is the helmsman aboard this ship. Well, here we've got the captain and the ship itself, which we also pulled both of. And again, with Captain's Log, we get an extra 3 weapons and 3 shields if you got them together. So that's good. Garrett is a pretty strong character. Officer, engineer, diplomacy. Lots of handy skills there. And then you've got... I did pull the Quark. We'll get there in a second. And then the Enterprise C stats are perfectly serviceable for the time. It's got an extra ability that you can enter. It can enter the play damaged at any location. So if you've got stranded crew somewhere, this can pop in and give them a way to get off the planet. So that's a fairly useful card to have as an option in some of your decks. It's not the strongest chip, but it's flavorful and useful. So there you go. So these were some of the highlight. I'm not going to go through all the rares I pulled. I got a bunch of neat artifacts too. A lot of things that are good for gameplay. But here's some of the highlight commons, uncommons, and rares for Alternate Universe. a nice, flavorful set. I'm glad I opened a box. I just wish I'd gotten the Future Enterprise. That's the main thing. The only other rare that I really didn't pull that I was hoping to was the Alternate Universe Tasha Yar, which was the first card they made that could download things, basically. She could go get a Type 2 phaser. Oh, I should mention, yeah, I also pulled some Romulans, which were handy. This is one of the first dual affiliation cards. This is when Deanna Troi went undercover as a Tel Shiar officer in the Romulan Empire for a mission. So she can play her either as Romulan or Federation, and she's got different stats depending on if you do that. There was another character who could be alternate in the set as well. We got both of those, along with the alternate universe Commander Tomalak and the Decius, which, again, as far as ships go, pretty strong stats. Stronger than average at the time, for sure. And again, with all three of the major devices on board. Stuffing requirements. You do need an alternate character, but it's not as heavy as that Klingon ship I showed you earlier. So yeah, I would definitely consider running this in my Romulan deck. And then the next box I opened was Rules of Acquisition, and I got two more Romulan cards. They're big headquarters. Continuing Committee, interestingly enough, is also the name that the group, after Decipher went under, that took over managing the game and running tournaments and coordinating people, and even making their own virtual sets. That's what they call themselves, the Continuing Committee. And you can look them up. They've got their own website and Discord groups and all the rest, I'm sure. I think their main thing is actually a Facebook group, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, and they've got different regions and regional tournaments and events. I think I looked it up once. The region that I physically live in, they tried to match different Star Trek locations in the stories to the geographical areas that you actually physically live in. So I actually live in Rurapente, if you believe it, the Arctic, penal colony moon from the Klingons, and that's just because I live up in Canada, basically, in a colder corner. Well, welcome. We like new people. Glad you stopped in. You missed some of our highlights for the Lord of the Rings stuff. I'm just going over some of the Star Trek stuff now, and this is getting into the transition, because these two cards here, and Senator Kraytak, who's Big Star VIP, Honor, Law, Security, Physics, and your Romulan ships at the same location are each weapons +2, so if you're going to do a space battle, that could be handy. These are both from Rules of Acquisition set. So that was the other Star Trek box that I opened. So I'll get into that. Oh, nice. That's good honest work, basically. I considered that briefly myself, but I didn't end up going that way. I went to university to become a teacher. And I did that for a little bit, and still do off and on at times in a substitute role, but there's lots of good jobs out there, and I'm glad you got a plan and are working towards it. Anyway, Rules of Acquisition. This here is probably the most sought-after card in the set. There is no ultra rare in Rules of Acquisition. There's just regular rares. And Quark is probably the top dog for the most sought-after, most expensive card in the set. Probably worth around $12. Nothing too exceptional. But there you go. There's Quark. He's got monster skills, lots and lots of them. He's got the ability to change his integrity on demand. He could be fairly strong integrity to 7 or very little, depending on what you need at the time. You got his brother Rom, fairly good engineer, double engineering, and then again some useful skills, and him can change his cunning on demand to very cunning or middling to low
I
cunning.
have arrived. Welcome in, Alias.
Yes, welcome. Just going over some of the highlights from our midnight section where, obviously not a lot of people could hang out through it, so just a brief recap on what we missed, and then a few surprises that we discovered today too, which I thought might interest people as I'm planning for future streams. There's Lita.
Oh, Nog, that's Quark's son, right? Or was that? Sorry, I see him behind.
Casino employees. Yeah, she's got some connections with Rom here. I forget exactly if there was. Field engineer works for the Bajorans. Brother of Quark.
I love how he's just like
has a crush on Lita. Right, so yeah, those two are good friends, but I don't think they ever became more than that. Anyway. Yeah, ooh, Star Trek. I like Star Trek too. So this set, Rules of Acquisition, is mostly about the Ferengi. There is a couple of Federation cards in there. I didn't get very many of them. But I got most of the Ferengi cards that really stood out. There's also some independent cards that can work with anybody, like Morn, Bar's Patron. That's probably the number 2 sought after card. I didn't get it. But I got Rom, I got Lita, I got Nog, who can work with Federation or Ferengi. Like Lita is Bajoran or Ferengi, so is Rom, but I guess...
Legend says he can listen to the sounds of tomorrow.
Not sure who that's referring to. To be honest, Deep Space Nine was the part of the show where I started to drift and not watch every single episode. Basically, by the time you got into the middle of the run of Deep Space Nine, I was into university, and I really wasn't watching a lot of television anymore on a regular basis. So I kind of lost the story around that time, which according to a lot of people is when it really got interesting. I got Grand Negus Zek, so he's a bigwig among the Ferengi as well. Brunt, a few other. I got the Tower of Commerce, big headquarters, 2 of their big cruisers that are sort of the best stat ships you can get for the Ferengi. My apologies, slip of the tongue. Here's Quark's treasure.
Well, I had one, you have one. Oh, that's probably where the moth came in from.
Probably. Some more Ferengi.
Got a window wide open.
We got Quark's bar. Again, I like this game, but I never really got into Nor locations. Like Nor or DS9, you could play locations on them. You could put people around on the space station. The point of the game, though, is to travel from place to place and beat missions. So while you do get some neat bonuses that way, it just seemed like it was too much not accomplishing the goal, so I never really got into that whole strategy. But I've got Quark's Bar now, so who knows, maybe I'll give it a try. Writ of Accountability, which I think Brunt can download. This can be downloaded by Julian Bashir or Lita. Some other interesting cards. Artifacts. Here's one of the Federation people. This is the ship that Kivas Fajo. I also went over the Fajo collection, so that was a neat little highlight product that they put out, sort of in between these 2 sets that I opened. There's a couple of Cardassian ships, a Dominion personnel, and then, oh yeah, here we're into more of the alternate universe rares. So that pretty much wraps up what we got from the Star Trek. And
then there's this.
Yeah, we showed this off during our live stream too. We've now got these promotional cards, so that's kind of neat.
I gave away 2 today to one of the game stores I buy stuff from.
Yeah, Magic and Pokemon are both regulars. Star Trek not so much. I've still got a bit more to do, but basically it's sort of a game of the week thing that comes and goes. Sometimes we do Star Trek, sometimes we do Lorcana, sometimes we do what's some of the other ones?
We're gonna put
we could do some Harry Potter in the future, or Versus System, or Star Wars CCG.
We're gonna have to
or the Lord of the Rings
keep
stuff.
track of who we send one of these to. But with
So,
every
yeah.
winner, we're gonna send one of these to from like starting now until we run out of them, and then we have to order more.
So again, those were some of our Lord of the Rings highlights there that I just mentioned previously, and then I went digging. And we were out traveling today. We went to pick up a few things. We had to get shoes for some of the kids. And we went to Costco. And guess what we found in Costco?
Wait, don't show it yet.
Don't show this yet? Okay.
I'm
I
gonna
won't
show
show
you
it
what
yet.
I found. it's not related to this stuff.
All
But
right.
it
Well,
immediately went into my cart, even though we've completed the set twice. Do you know what that is? Any guesses?
I think anyone who's been following Pokemon recently has a decent idea. We got
They
an
had
ultra
it at,
premium
at one of the
collection.
Walmarts. We didn't
Not
check our
Walmart's,
regular.
Costco's.
No, Costco. I wish Walmart had it, but then it'd be overpriced there.
Just adjust this because it's falling off the table.
Sorry, I just had to share that.
Right.
That's my exciting.
And then I went digging around trying to find more of the cards to fill out that set I'm trying to reconstitute for Onslaught.
Did you show that one?
I found a whole bunch. No, I haven't showed that yet. When we got home, well, and I found again more stuff about Time Spiral. So I've still got some sealed Time Spiral pre-constructed decks, and this is the most popular of them. Slivers really took off. Not just then; it was popular before then, but at this time, it gave them another real big push. And Time Spiral was something special. I heard that it's the first set that really had a bonus sheet of cards that were included, so you could get sort of extra rares and stuff. Some of the cards in the Time Spiral Time Shifted sheet were neat, for sure. A lot of goodies. And that came about just about the time we were moving to Alberta, so it sticks out in my mind. So one of these days I hope to do something about that. I found this, which I thought would make a neat rated or hate it too. Honestly, I didn't get heavily into any of the unsets, but there's a few things that just stood out to me. And Rocket Powered Turbo Slug I thought was a lot of fun. So you got a 3/1 Super Haste that you can play during your attack phase, tapped and attacking, out of nowhere, and then you just have to cast it on your next turn or you lose. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a cute little critter, and you can see it, whoop, it zipped past everyone else and is now burning through the card itself. Super Haste, yeah. I think it's a neat idea. They've never brought it back, as far as I'm aware. And I also found some of these old Sliver tokens. I haven't looked these up lately, but I seem to recall about a decade ago when I was thumbing through, I was surprised they actually were worth a couple bucks back then, so I'll have to go and see if they still are.
It almost breaks my ribs.
This was one of the first token cards they ever officially released. The Anthologies box had some token goblins as well, and Pegasi. So got some of them kicking around
there's something else
somewhere
we
too.
found today at the store. But it's more Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, there's Kamal and Akroma. And yeah, they were big, well-known characters at the time, and this was before the time of Planeswalkers. I still can't believe they made Planeswalker cards. But that's another story for another day. Anyway. But yeah, while we were at Costco, guess what else we found? They've got Magic the Gathering Deluxe Commander Kits. So you get a Commander deck. In this case, it's a March of the Machines
They
one.
did have Pokemon cards, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
And you get a couple promo cards and 3 booster packs thrown in as bonuses. So a set of Bloomborough is the most recent one, although they're starting to put out previews for the next set already. March of the Machine, which matches, in this case, the Commander deck that we got. And a pack of Commander Masters, which the Master sets in general seem to have some sort of value to them. I've heard this one is very hit and miss. Most of the things you can pull are pretty poor. But occasionally you can pull something that's pretty decent. So I'm interested in this, interested enough to pick one up anyway and see how it goes. I haven't bought new Magic cards in a long time, outside of a few packs of Bloomborough to check out the value boosters and see, and obviously the Lord of the Rings. Those were my 2 exceptions up till now. So this sort of breaks that. I haven't heard a lot of good things about March the Machines, but who knows, might get something interesting. And I did a very brief search, not knowing anything about the recent sets, and of the March of the Machine starter decks, this one seemed to have the best reputation for value. So just in a vacuum, based on that, I decided that I would grab a pack that had this one in particular. So we'll see if this ends up being anything worthwhile, but at least it looks like something that'll be interesting to look at. Anyway. Yeah, Magic, that's what I meant. Just a mistype. March of the Machines had some good stuff. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Hopefully we get some of the good stuff. Mostly in the decks. Okay, well, there we go. This is one of the decks. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what else there was. But yeah, that was the stuff we saw. That was some of the stuff I found as I was fishing around. And I did find a stack of Onslaught rares here and a couple of the uncommons that I'd missed. So I'm ready to stick those into the binder and start to get my Onslaught set mostly together so that I can do a set review on that in the near future. I don't know if that'll be this week or the week after. Oh yeah, we also found one of these at the card store. This is another
probably open it Thursday.
This is another new release. Dark Powers Special Collection. So it comes
double-sided.
Yeah, it's double-sided. You got the Absol side with 3 booster packs, and then you flip it over, and you got a Gengar side with another 2 booster packs and a giant card. So you end up with...
I feel like that Banette EX card was in something else, though.
Oh, it could be.
The giant one.
So you end up with 5 packs in this little box, along with 2 promo cards and a giant-sized promo card. Not a bad little product, and that's something we're looking forward to in the future as well.
There's also...
We also grabbed...
over there, it's under...
Underneath, is this going to cause an avalanche? Probably.
Yeah, we'll probably open that on Thursday, too.
We also picked up the new version of the Trick or Trade.
Oh, the Umbreon.
Booster bundle.
Umbreon. Got Umbreon.
Looks like it's got Umbreon and Gengar and, of course, Pikachu. And
the Trevenant? Is that what that one is?
Trevenant, yeah. Last time it was pretty heavy on, ghost types and poison types and dark types.
It's Halloween,
and,
right?
It's Halloween themed, so yeah. It's kind of what you expect. But they've got to get Pikachu into everything, so.
I already showed off the 151 UCP or UPC we bought.
Yeah, so we stocked up more than we were planning to. Because we got those surprises.
Yeah, and we have we still have back to school stuff to get, so.
Yeah.
Ezra needs
like I said,
because he didn't come with us.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to, like I said, with the Star Trek, since it's here in the background. Next time I get into a box, like I said, probably in 2 weeks or so, it'll probably be Trouble with Triples. This was a very interesting set. They tried some new stuff with it. And in particular, it was the set where they launched characters from the original Star Trek series, but in the context of Deep Space Nine. So it was based around, mostly, not entirely, the episode of Deep Space Nine where the characters, I think it was it the 30th anniversary of Star Trek or 25th anniversary of Star Trek? I think it was the 30th anniversary, something like that. So the current shows at the time were Voyager and Deep Space Nine, and they both made episodes that interacted with the original cast in some way.
My favorite Ferengi.
Yep, he's definitely
he was a fun character. I loved him. Who was it that he bantered with all the time?
Oh, pretty much anybody. Odo was probably the most common one.
It's probably the one I remember the most.
But yeah. Quark was memorable. Quark and Guinan, the 2 bartenders of the Star Trek universe in those days.
Odo knew how to get really get him going.
Yeah.
Or so. That's my favorite part about him.
So, but yeah. So in the Trouble with Triples set, you had the introduction of the original series alongside characters from Deep Space Nine. So you got 2 sort of sets of crews in the one set, and it's not a huge set. So lots of fun, big characters to pull.
Done showing cards?
I think more or less.
Okay, well, here it goes.
So.
Look, there's a Lord of the Rings box. There.
The box I was trying to stack some of the Star Trek stuff in.
All our goodies.
Yeah.
There's some remnants over there from our stream on Thursday.
Yeah.
It was quite the stream. It was very exciting. And if you like Pokemon, go check out it was mostly in part 1 and part 4. A little bit at the beginning of part 2. We gave away some
packs of cards from the Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh, sorry.
When you say it's not a huge set, approximately how many cards are we talking about? Well, it's an interesting one because it's not easily defined. I believe it's somewhere in the 140s for the main set, but they also had pre-constructed starter decks, which contained versions of cards from previous sets with altered art. So basically, they took, other characters or scenes and stuck tribbles into the artwork. So those versions of the cards are not part of the main set, but they are Trouble with Tribbles cards from the starters that you can't find anywhere else. So some people include those in the set, some people don't.
What is the
And in addition to that, in the packs,
probably why we're not getting as much traffic.
there was also a sub game that they made with Tribbles cards, where Tribbles would breed 1 Tribble to 10 Tribbles to 100 Tribbles to 1,000 Tribbles to 10,000 Tribbles to 100,000 Tribbles. And there was a whole sub game that you could play that was just Tribbles. And most of the cards for that game are in the booster packs for Trouble with Tribbles, and can be played in the Star Trek game generally with slightly different rules. In addition to being able to play that side game, and then there was a separate box that's technically a different game but uses most of the same cards. That's the Trouble with Tribbles game. These were just some of my other duplicates. Uncommon version of Gimli. Some other sites on uncommons that I had doubles of.
Yeah,
just gives me something to look at while we're
explains
talking.
why we weren't getting many people coming. I didn't put a description, and I didn't put.
Oh, well, there you go.
I spelled Star Trek wrong. Well, I put it together. I didn't separate it.
So these are some of the cards from the Decipher game. Orc Runner is kind of neat because he costs 1 to play. You can see at the top there. But when he comes into play, he gives you 2 back. So, sort of a free creature, which lets you build up more, and that plays into the swarm mechanic of that type. Anyway, then there's some food and treasure and orc tokens and army tokens and soldiers and all this token stuff. There's Smaug. This is one of the reasons why I think Magic is going to go back and do another Tales of Middle-earth set based around The Hobbit, because there really weren't many references to The Hobbit in the set itself. And what there were, I mean, how do you just get a token for Smaug?
One does not simply pass over Boromir without commentary.
Well, sure one can, but Boromir is great.
Not.
I already commented on him earlier because Boromir was one of the few rare cards that I actually ended up with a double of. So I've got the rare Boromir and the uncommon Boromir. And if I choose to try to use some of these extras to build a deck, well, I'm definitely set for Boromir. But yeah, honestly, it'll give them a chance to do key reprints if they need to reprint certain cards, and introduce a bunch of new stuff like all the dwarves who are Bilbo's companions. And honestly, you still have Gandalf, you still got good old Bilbo and his, you visit Elrond again. There's lots of the iconic places and things, and it would give them a chance to reprint the One Ring if they want to, and the Orcish Bowmasters and all those cards that people are clamoring for. So you could even reprint Delighted Halfling, I suppose. All those goodies could be back if they just do another Tales of Middle-earth and just pick either the Hobbit or the Silmarillion or other things. They could work in a lot of this stuff. So yeah. So here's some of the spare uncommons that we got, basically, from the Magic, like all around. Anyway.
Oh, so if we didn't have all the back-to-school shopping we had to do, I probably would have picked up a few of those ones to do on ECPs.
Yeah, who knows. And I'd like to open some more of this one day, but we'll see. But yeah, I do like this game.
I missed the beginning. Yeah, sorry.
Did you get any rings? I got the common, the One Ring.
Yeah, this is just our
from the Decipher's Lord of the Rings. I did not get the One Ring out of the Tales of Middle-earth. That was unfortunate. My highlights included sort of a foil Sauron, Here's my box topper and
Hey,
the Orcish
Jay Bear,
Bowmaster.
how's it going?
I didn't get the rare one ring from the Lord of the Rings either. My rare foil was Gimli, which is a good one. I did get a common foil, the Ring's Oppression, which looks pretty sweet in foil, but is not not a super valuable or sought after card otherwise. But it is nice looking. I'll give it that. That's about as close as I got to the One Ring in either set. So, so yeah, that was our highlights from our big anniversary stream. We
That's what I was
got
gonna
our
say.
little promo cards, which we can now give out with things. So that's kind of neat. And we got a logo made
I like
up.
that Gimli, nice. Yeah, I love Gimli.
It is a nice Gimli. And yeah, that was the.
Hey, Tank.
That was.
Yeah,
If I had to pick the singular highlight card for each of the 4 boxes I opened over the night
the
section.
highlight card of the whole stream is this.
For each of the 4 boxes.
I'm teasing.
This was my highlight card, the rare foil from the Decipher Lord of the Rings. The box topper probably takes it, even though the Orcish Bowmaster is worth more for my the set boosters from
Hey,
Tales
Sketchy,
of
how's it
Middle-earth.
going?
And then it would have to be Quark from
Sorry, this
Rules
is
of
little,
Acquisition.
I don't know what's going on with this. It's
And from Alternate Universe, ooh, that's tricky. But I would give that highlight probably to
I want
the
to play with that trainer Spocat card.
probably to the Enterprise C, which I pulled 2 copies of in back-to-back packs and did a giveaway for one already. So
Sorry for the delay. My
it was a
dad will get to
pretty
this.
sweet
It
card.
sounds good, Sketchy. Yeah. No, that's good.
So yeah, that was probably my highlight pull from Alternate Universe. And that was, yeah, 4 booster boxes opened in one night. It is an awful lot of card opening, and it was a good variety from the different games, different sets, and both Star Trek and Lord of the Rings theme, 2 of my favorite theme games. I really had a good time doing that, although it did make
no
for
worries. Have a good night,
a long
Sketchy.
and grueling night. But yeah, thanks for coming and checking out some of our
Yeah, you
our
don't
highlights.
see. We had some people come and new people come join us because we actually put the freaking. I forgot to put the description and the tags in.
Yeah. So here's a little question, because we're still planning out what I'm going to do for our Monday night stream, which is Monday night we do Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
So we got that box that I just found when we were at Costco, the Magic the Gathering Deluxe Commander Kit from March of the Machine, which comes with a Commander deck, one that I've never opened before. I stopped playing shortly after they started making official Commander deck products, so I got a couple of the early ones from the first wave or 2, and then I haven't opened any since. So it'll be interesting to see how they changed. And then it came with a couple of promotional cards in these booster packs, as I showed before. So I could dig into this and just open it up and explore it and have fun talking about that. Or if I rush and scramble and get all this stack of Onslaught rares, and actually the stack's a little bigger than that. It's got some sleeved cards too and whatnot that I haven't put away yet. And get that Onslaught set built. I could do an Onslaught review like I've done with Alliances and Stronghold and Portal 3 Kingdoms and some of the other sets, right back to where I started with Homelands and Fallen Empires. So, is this the second 24-hour stream? No. This is just going over some of the highlights of some of the polls I had in the overnight section where a lot of people had to.
You plan to do story time
leave.
with Papa Spocat?
So, well, I mean, I have
time.
no objection to reading something if it's something I find a little interesting now and then.
Tank, you cleaned up at the
honestly,
at our 24-hour stream for the winnings.
Yeah,
Holy
Tank
cow.
did good. In terms of just reading, I mean, this time spiral insert that I found
Sorry, something's wrong with this.
has got a lot of neat info on it too. So when we get into discussing for that, I will probably read most of this, because not only does it go along about the Time Spiral set, which included Planar Chaos and Future Sight and all kinds of goodies. So it's got all stuff about that and the mechanics in it. It also has all the blurb about playing the deck and what was in the deck for the slivers. So that will be good when we get to it. And I've got stuff to read when I do get there. But what would you guys think would be more entertaining to watch? Talking about, doing an opening video for Magic the Gathering, which we've never done a big opening video, just little value booster comparisons with Bloomborough, and they've been very brief. There's even Bloomborough in this. So I could open and go through that. Or if I get my act together and get this all sorted, I could do the Onslaught slot set review. You think I'd be better to tackle the Onslaught this week, or just do an opening video and give me more time to put my thoughts together and do the Onslaught video, the following week or something? Any thoughts? Anyone have any preferences on those? Meanwhile, I'll put this up to consider again too, just because I think it's funny, the Rocket Power Turbo Slug. And I think this might have been actually before they made an animated movie about that. Because didn't they have a movie about a slug with, like, racing engines and stuff?
Turbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this predates that film. I could be wrong. What date was this? Where is
Turbo?
it?
I don't know.
Shoot, why isn't it
When
focusing?
did Turbo come out?
2004
Turbo
was
movie?
when this set came out.
2013.
I
was
didn't
the
mention
movie.
that.
So yeah, that's way before the movie.
This is 10. So this is 9 years before the film Turbo came out.
I got thoughts.
Magic the Gathering had...
If I say anything, I might not get adopted, and I am so close.
the Rocket Power Turbo Slug, just causing trouble. Anyway. So would you rather see me do an opening video with the...
Let's flip this here.
an opening video or a set review video next, basically, for this
There
week?
he is.
You think that would be,
There's the beard for
a
Alias.
good change of pace? Or stick to what I've had success with in the past? Although, to be honest, I'm running out of sets that I have enough of that I could actually do a full set,
Yeah.
walk through. I have a few more, but they're with the modern frame, and
Are there any sets
I'm
that
not, despite
are
even
cool
sets
but
that
not
I
as
collect.
expensive to grab a few
Oh.
singles of?
I have no idea. I'm sure there are. March of the Machines, ironically, is probably one.
You look. Love the beard.
Well, I'm glad some people have commented on it and seem to enjoy it. I am still of the opinion that it's getting a little bit of an overrun and is due for a trim.
It's
I
growing
used to
on
just have a little goatee about this big.
I would rather get adopted, but whatever you do is awesome.
But when we did the our trip last summer, not this summer,
You look wise and
I came back and I couldn't find the razor.
Oh, you should be a
So-
wizard for Halloween.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Ooh. Just like put some flour in your hair or something, or in your beard.
I also didn't have as much call to shave right away because I wasn't getting as many calls for substitute teaching last year.
You could
And
learn
so
how to be a
being
Santa.
neatly trimmed wasn't as big a priority. But now that it's grown out a bit, maybe neatly trimmed isn't as big a priority anyway.
You could play Santa at Christmas.
I'd need to powder it and make
Yeah.
it white looking. More. Well, that's starting, but it's not going to be white enough by Christmas.
Dude,
I hope.
I am a teacher as well.
Nice.
Physical education in elementary. Nice.
Well, I would have trouble keeping up in PE now. I was trained as a math and physics teacher for high school, or math and science teacher with a specialty in physics. But yeah, I haven't been in the classroom full time for over 15 years now.
Yeah,
And since the
yeah, Lucas was
disruptions to work that have been caused in the last 4 years, I renewed my credentials and go back and do some substitute
Lucas
teaching
hasn't
at
even
times.
born yet.
But like I said last year, there wasn't a lot of calls. But in the previous years, it was neat to get back into the classroom and see all the changes that had happened over
I
the
can't
last
handle
decade.
high school. Those kids are getting really aggressive and sassy.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
Our local high school's been pretty good at trying to keep things reasonable. But
There's the odd kid, and
when I used to
yeah.
teach before, electronic devices were not allowed in classrooms. Period. And now, when I went back substituting, they would have, oh, go find your assignment on Google Classroom. So they would need a device in order to find their assignments and do their work. It was required that they had one. And now, this year, at least in our province, they're looking at putting in rules to restrict.
Saskatchewan as well.
Okay, in a couple of provinces
Ontario
in Canada,
might even be. I don't know.
they're looking to restrict devices in the classrooms again, and I
They
think
should
that's
be.
I think that's a good play.
Even Abram thinks so, and he's like 17.
Yeah.
So.
I saw some studies over the past year that came out of Sweden that showed how
Alias, you're funny.
physically writing things down in classroom helps memory retention. Just making your hand
What do
move
Canadians eat again aside from food?
aside from food. Well, water is consumable and is not technically food because it is mineral, not vegetable or
Maple
animal.
syrup.
Salt is also not vegetable or mineral and can be
Maple
consumed.
syrup.
Maple syrup is
Liquid. It's
derived
liquid.
from
A tree.
a tree.
We eat trees.
Well, you can, but it's not
That's food.
But the syrup is nice.
Yeah. They've really hurt the focus levels in my school, and kids can get to take them home, and there's no restrictions or content. Yeah, no, we there was a student that caused some issues for our son. So
It's a little disheartening when you write out a puzzle or even just notes on the board for the kids to copy down and think about. And the response is some kid takes, 2 steps up towards the front of the
Ginger
class,
snaps.
pulls out their camera and just goes click and takes a picture of the
I
note that you
enjoyed
just spent
drinking
time writing
maple
out for
water. Oh yeah.
them.
That
Yeah.
could be interesting.
Anyway,
Oh, speaking of maples. Oh, here, I'll get something. You never tried it yet.
maple something. Oh, I think I know what you're going for. This could be interesting. We found a few interesting snacks when we were traveling across the country earlier this summer, to retrieve a couple of the kids from their grandparents. And we did a couple of taste testings during the 24-hour stream, but we missed one. So Angela's found it. I think we found this at Young's General Store in Wawa, which is close to the area where Angela grew up. So
Yeah. If you ever
We often
travel
stop in
across
there.
Canada,
here, let me show you.
I highly recommend Young's General Store and Sandy Beach.
We found some premium crafted. Is this right way around on the Canadian maple syrup soda? Which, in an ironic twist, I believe, where is it? Where is it? Yeah, product of the USA.
Sounds good, Big. Feel free to go check out our live streams. We have them up
So, yeah.
still. The 4
Canadian maple syrup soda made in
lot of
the
fun
United
stuff on
States
there.
of America. Go figure.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when I traveled overseas once
We appreciate you.
and was visiting in Kazakhstan. They
I'm gonna open that.
they liked instant coffee, and you could get packets of instant coffee
Oh, it smells like maple syrup.
with real American. Well, I'd hope so.
Smell it.
Yeah, it does a bit with
Smell
American
it.
flavor. So
It smells like
all
maple
these
syrup.
things that are made in other countries to replicate other countries' cuisine.
It's gotta be better than your mint soda you had today.
Oh, probably.
Oh.
I found a
Oh.
Christmas mint soda. She tried a sip. She says it tasted kind of like mouthwash,
But watered down.
watered down. Obviously, it doesn't have the sort of alcohols that it uses to clean out your mouth. It's just soda, but
Noses.
it was interesting.
Smell,
now I
yeah,
can say
smell.
I've tried it.
Smell the maple syrup.
If you've ever had maple
Yeah.
syrup, that's pretty close to what it smells like.
It smells like maple syrup.
Yeah. Oh, sniffing the bottle. That reminds me of another teacher-related story. I grew up in a corner of Ontario that was more French speaking than English.
Mm-hmm.
So the French minority population got the extra funding for being a minority,
Oh my goodness, it
even though
smells.
in that area they were the majority. In any case, we had some old teachers who were rather set in their ways, and
I can almost smell the Canadian.
our chemistry teacher was teaching how you handle samples when you're doing experiments, and if you want to
Oh,
smell something,
here.
you do not stick your nose over it and inhale. You just you're blocking my
I'm sorry,
demonstration.
just a second. There's a website there if you want to go check it out. See if you guys can get it in the States. So,
You okay? So the chemistry teacher was giving us this introduction early, and you said if you want to smell something, you don't stick your nose over it. You just waft a little bit towards you, and smell that. Safer.
oh
Well,
yeah.
one of our classmates, first language was French, didn't quite understand the instructions, and so when it came time to actually do that, he went over and
He
put his
enjoyed
nose
it.
right over, and his reaction was rather animated as he, you know, made some well-known words, which I'm not going to repeat on here in French. And
Yeah, the French like to use different things like
they use different words,
church words.
religious themed words for strong language.
My dad, he's French, and he used to say them all, and I would know he was swearing, but I didn't know what he was saying.
Yeah. This teacher wasn't overly concerned with safety.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that one too.
So, he would
Yeah.
do chemistry demonstrations like, oh, look at this. We can't get this anymore. But we still have some from back in the day. And he'd pass around a little bottle of liquid mercury to see how it moved and things like this. Or throw a chunk of sodium metal into a beaker of water and watch it splutter around and pop, and little pieces would land on nearby students' binders and scorch them and things. It was very amusing. So,
No, I don't like the whole thing they did with the Aunt Jemima stuff. Like, ugh.
yeah, we don't need to actually say the words on here, but I'm glad you have some idea of what some of them would
Yeah.
be.
This is a family-friendly stream, even
Yeah.
if it's late at night.
But
yeah, we
but-
all know them.
Yeah, I was quite amused when I got my copy of in Magic the Gathering of the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale, because that was a word I was familiar with. So
Yeah, we should probably avoid the whole why we don't agree with that. But don't want to get too into the whole political side of things. But the whole name change for Aunt Jemima.
oh well.
Yeah, but everybody knows.
That's nice.
Is it?
I think so. I'm not sure about the aftertaste, but the actual drinking of it isn't bad at all.
Yeah. Ooh, I bet you like how you make cakes and you put cans of pop or stuff like that or whatever in with the cake mix as a liquid. That would probably be good for that.
Horrible decision. No friendly smile anymore,
Yeah.
which was a bad decision.
Yeah.
Oh, that, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's that. Yeah, marketing. Marketing is always marketing. They always look for the safe route if they think they know what it is. Sometimes
There's
they're
just
wrong.
a slight aftertaste, but overall it's decent.
So,
Um,
politics
tastes
aside,
like maple syrup.
yeah, it was a terrible decision.
But it's not as sweet. Like it's not like the thick,
Just reading
right?
the
It's
comments. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not thick and syrupy.
that's interesting.
It is. I would drink, this on a semi-regular basis, I suppose.
This is what Canadians.
If you could find it on a
This is what Americans make for Canadians when they want to make us happy.
I guess. Which, most of the time they just ignore us, so.
Does it lean into any soda you tried before?
It definitely isn't really a cola. That's.
No, it's
It's
You know
sweeter
what?
than ginger ale.
it's kind of somewhere between ginger ale and root beer
Maybe.
because it's like A&W root beer. I don't know. Do you guys get A&W down? I don't think you do. You get A&W root beer? in the
Yeah, I'm
States?
pretty sure they do.
It's Canadian though, isn't it?
Yeah, but up here the restaurants are more popular.
Yeah.
But the soda, the root beer, I'm pretty sure is
Every time I see the
right through
product
North America.
Mayo Chub in the store shelves, I always crack up laughing.
Mayo
Yeah.
chup, yeah, that was an interesting
So
one.
yeah, this probably kind of reminds me of a milder root beer, just less mapley. like for root beer. I mean, like it's yeah, just add some root beer to or some maple syrup to root beer maybe, and take more caramel because it's not as dark, right?
I mean, I'm sure if you had your own soda maker, where you just buy different syrups to put in for flavor, you could just put maple syrup in that
Yeah.
and make something similar. I don't know how. Like,
do you think they
does it
just
say how simple the ingredients are?
do
in
you think
there?
they just put like maple syrup in with carbonated water?
Well, that's what I'm trying to check here. Does there? Where's the ingredient
Root
list?
beer
Where's
floats
there
and
one?
hamburgers. Yes.
Ingredients:
Okay, nice.
carbonated artisan spring water, pure cane sugar,
I drank
citric
the prime
acid,
drink
caramel
once.
color, natural flavor. No, they didn't put just maple syrup in here per
Okay,
se.
we'll have to Google that.
So, but you could probably try that.
We'll have to Google that. Apparently, mayo chup is a Cree word that the Heinz company was informed of. So it probably means something.
I hadn't heard that, but
I'll have to Google that. I'll Google that later.
okay.
Natural flavor, that's the maple. Yeah.
Yeah.
It smells like maple syrup. It tastes like maple syrup. It's just not as strong.
Well, it's like those maple
But-
cookies. There's very little
Yeah,
maple
yeah.
syrup in them.
That's what it tastes like.
It's mostly artificial flavoring, I'm sure.
It tastes like the
well, or
maple.
natural flavoring, but
It tastes like the maple cream filling in those cookies, but like a soda. In
yeah,
soda form.
yeah, kind of, and that's the
Yeah.
aftertaste. It's not quite real maple, but it's close.
We had an A&W that merged with Long John Silver's, but no one really ate the fish.
Fair enough. Fish can be hit or miss in a few places. It's hard. It's hard to get good fish in Alberta, just because we're so landlocked.
Yeah.
And if you do find a place that has good fish, it's usually quite pricey
What
because
about we say?
they got it.
But we
They
do
take
have
care
good
of it.
beef.
Yes, a lot of cattle ranches you can get good local beef,
Oh, elk.
and
There's a lot of elk farmers.
sometimes the beef
Bison.
is frequently on sale at the grocery stores too.
Yep.
But the chicken is definitely more expensive here than it was in Ontario.
Yeah.
That's one thing we noticed when we moved here.
I'm in Vancouver and I'm spoiled with a lot of sushi. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice. We haven't gotten out to Vancouver yet. We've been to the East Coast. We haven't quite.
I've
made
been
it to the
told
West
we have
Coast.
terrible maple syrup here in the States, but I always buy Anderson's. Isn't Vermont like the maple syrup state or something?
I think Maine and Vermont.
Yeah. Because I mean it's fairly close to maple syrup land in
Yeah. Quebec
Canada.
has more of the
Elk
maple
is
syrup
so
production in Canada. Ontario is probably
if
second.
it's cooked right. Because I had a really nice elk steak on our anniversary one year at a in Jasper at one of the chalets. But then the next time we went there, they changed their cooks and it wasn't
There
as
are
good.
a lot of hunters in our area,
Mm-hmm.
so they always fight for tickets for elk. It's hard to get an elk ticket, but you can get one every few years.
Or you can just go buy
Deer
some
are
from
easy to get, and moose are even tougher than elk to get tickets
Or you can just
for.
go get some elk from a farm. Elk farm.
Well, yeah, there are places that
Yeah.
farm buffalo and elk and stuff too, but anyway.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I haven't tried dried elk. I don't think I tried dried caribou once when
Buy
I was
some
in
La Fraise.
when I was in grade school. One of my classmates
I
went
love
to
to hunt.
visit
We make
family up
venison
in the
jerky
territories, and then came
and
back down
sausage.
and brought some.
Yeah, I want to get hunting licenses and whatever the the safety, whatever the gun things you got to do. Oh wait, you're not supposed to say that word on the
No.
pew pew stuff. Anyways, oops. But
Well, the hunting window is bigger if you go bow hunting anyway.
oh no. I don't. I was never good at that.
So
But yeah, I'd like to go get some
yeah,
deer.
it's the way to go.
But
Anyhow, we're getting far off topic.
Yeah.
That's-
we got maple soda. It's good. If you ever see this anywhere, give it a try.
yeah, it's worth a try.
It tastes like the maple filling in cookies, just in soda form. I enjoy. Okay, nice.
Yeah, it does have a longer season.
And you don't need to get all the special licenses for that, do you?
Not as many
No.
anyway. You still need your hunting tickets and stuff, obviously. But Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I heard some people got in
it
trouble
was.
when they tried to go spear hunting. That's apparently a real no-no.
You probably have to be part of a certain group to be able to do that or something. Maybe.
Probably. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know.
Anyhow.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, it's been, and I don't know who hasn't seen this yet.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
show
didn't
this
see
again.
if anybody had an opinion as
What do you
to
think of our cards?
for the Monday Night Magic stream. Would you rather see me do the opening and analysis of that Commander pack, or try and get the Onslaught stuff together and do an Onslaught discussion?
Mm.
I don't know. I'm probably do both
So
in the
what
near
card did you
future.
guys pull
Just
from
which one to
Lost
do
Origin
first.
the
I'm
other
trying
day?
to decide.
Oh, it's just a little card. Rhymes with
Pikachu.
no, not well. We did pull
We
Pikachu,
did pull Pikachu.
but it rhymes
That's
with
nice.
Maritina. Rhymes with Maritina. I don't know if Maritina is a real word, but yeah.
Margarita? Not quite.
No, different.
Tina.
Just a little card.
Yeah, we had good luck with that.
I did put it in my binder, which I kind of feel like it needs to come out because it shouldn't be in my binder. But I just didn't want to lose it.
Yeah. So that was certainly the highlight of the first
and
part
the two
of our
Zards.
stream. Yeah.
The second Zard was pulled, the Paldean Fate Zard was pulled in the beginning of your Lord of the Rings stream.
Ironically. Yes.
And then the next morning we pulled the Cassiopeia from Shrouded Fable. There's some other cards too. There's really nice cards that those are the big ones that we got.
Yeah.
So
we definitely had better luck with the Pokemon than we did with the Lord of the Rings of the Star Trek.
yeah, because we were battling Paldean Fates. Oh, that came out of, I was trying to remember what it came out of. It came out of the 3-pack blisters. We were battling the Paldean Fates against your Lord of the Rings, and I thought I lost.
Yeah, because I had pulled a pack that had...
You've got a base set Charizard, terrible condition, but yeah, no, you can hold on to that. It doesn't matter what condition it is.
I pulled
Sorry
a pack
you didn't get anything.
of Magic Lord of the Rings that had both the foil mythic Sauron here and the Delighted Halfling. So that's two cards that
Made me deaf for 4 hours.
worth over $10
I'm sorry.
each.
I can't control my volume.
I thought I was doing good. And then she pulls a stinking Charizard in her pack and just blows me out of the water.
And that was the fourth one of that Charizard.
So yeah.
Oh, then we pulled the third Brilliant Stars Charizard at the end of our Lost Origin stream, right? Or in there somewhere. Out of the heavy hitters box. Yeah, the one of the very few hits out of that. So
yeah,
it was a good stream.
Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah, I was very happy with how that went. So, what's the greatest card you two own? Like your most prized possession? Well,
greatest card.
I have
in terms of value.
Okay,
in
well,
terms of rarity. In terms
you
of,
have.
I've got
some
a few
coming,
interesting cards,
or you have some higher value cards than me because I haven't been collecting that long.
I've got some I started collecting Magic back in '95, and I always had an idea to trade up and to trade for the older stuff that was less likely to get reprinted. So I have
your
a number.
favorite.
My favorite? Oh, probably it would be, again, that Ancestral Recall that I've mentioned a couple of times, just because of the work I did to get it.
Although
I loved collecting Alliances. It was a great set. I worked all summer collecting, picking strawberries to get money to buy packs, and eventually completed and built out the entire set of Alliances. And then after I'd finished it, about a year later, our local store had a Ancestral Recall Unlimited sitting in their case.
Hey, Becca! How are you?
I worked out a deal with the owner to trade away that big Alliances set plus a couple of extra rares to get my hands on that Ancestral Recall. So I've still got it. Still got the Unlimited Ancestral Recall. That
oh yeah, I hear you.
Has all that history behind it because of the Alliances set that I traded away to get it after I built myself. So that's probably my favorite in the sense of a personal story attached to it. I have other cards that for playing I find more interesting. but it's a good solid card, and it's
Favorite
definitely got some value to it as well. It's probably not my most valuable card, but it's up
that
there. It's got to be
is your
close.
Jazam.
Oh no, it's worth more than a
Okay.
Shazam.
Okay. Well, your Jazam to Jin card is one of the more interesting ones.
Well, it's an interesting card. It's a
Yeah.
piece of Magic history for
Yeah.
sure. And it's fun, but it's not nearly as
I
good as
participated in my
other
first ever
black four
Pokemon
drops.
pre-release. Nice. I would love to go to one of
I've
those,
never been
but
to a
I don't know
Pokemon
how to play
pre-release.
Pokemon. Not that well.
Wow,
I think we should
it's a
bring
good place to learn in
we
some
should
ways.
bring maybe Thomas and Isabel
People are on the same table,
and
same
just
card
be like,
availability anyway.
yeah, and then we can get a whole bunch of freebies.
We were,
Like the packs or whatever, the special promos you get there.
yeah.
We were at the wife's mother's viewing early. Okay.
I hope it went well. It's always a tough transition when something like that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We as for like the
It's a fairly basic game. You've only got three
Yeah.
basic card types, and then
No, we should probably teach the kids to go and then take them to a pre-release sometime.
that could be fun.
But thank you for your well wishes.
It's yeah. We usually don't go on Saturday nights,
No,
but we frequently do go on.
it's
on
Saturday
Sunday.
night here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, for Pokemon, for favorite card of Pokemon. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to think. We've got a few. I don't have a lot of history with. Oh, I stole some from you.
Some.
So he has some old cards, and I went through and I stole a few.
She found a few that were interesting enough to.
I'm gonna make a binder of my
abscond with.
stolen cards.
Mostly
from
just
my husband.
commons, but she did find a couple that were worth a few dollars. I
Yeah.
had an old bag on that was a promo from Scry. That,
Sounds good, Becca.
Is interesting. I think the most interesting one in terms of value was the old Jolteon, wasn't it?
Oh, that was cool.
Because it had a
Yeah.
foil Jolteon from Jungle, but it was a variant that had missed the Jungle icon. So I thought originally it was from base set because it didn't have an expansion symbol on it. But no, it's a Jungle card. It's just it.
Error card.
Apparently they had a batch that didn't have the Jungle expansion symbol on them. So
We got a few. I'm trying to think. I was really one of my favorite stories about opening packs. Actually, was we got a night or weekend away, and we went to that card store and bought a single mini tin from a Paldean Fates from the store, and we were trying to decide whether we were going to open or buy some Animal Crossing Lego, and if Barry pulled the best card, then he was a yes, and if I pulled it, then I was a no, just because somebody had to be a no. And then Barry pulled the Paldean Fates Charizard. That was our second? That was our third Paldean Fates Charizard, because we got
was it?
we got like three in the
I've
first
lost
week.
track
Yeah,
which one it was.
we just pulled our fourth
yeah.
Paldean Fates Charizard. So
My brother's stepkid is thinking about giving me his old binders.
Ooh.
LOL. Who knows
Yeah.
what he's got in there. Once I get them, I'm going to go through and see what I might need to be graded. Yeah, somebody was getting rid of their binders on a local, garage sale website sort of thing that we have in town here, a couple of years ago. And I picked up somebody's binder they were getting rid of.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering,
That's been
yeah.
a
I
bit,
went
yeah.
through and I found a few interesting things. I think they had some, like a Portal, Armageddon, and Wrath of God, and a few other interesting rares. The single most valuable card I found in it was Memory Jar, I think. It was worth 40 or 50 bucks. Something like that. But yeah, there wasn't a lot, but there was some interesting stuff. And there was a lot of good, solid, playable common sets. Stuff like Rancors and Priest of Titania and, all those, at least at the time, good solid commons. I'm sure by now some of them are less so than they used to be, but
Ooh,
You never know what you're gonna find in somebody's old binder or collection or whatever. So sometimes you can find some real gems.
the Lost Origin Giratina
Often,
though for
not really, but
Pokemon is probably going to be a new favorite pretty soon. But I did win a Korean Umbreon graded. I've got to get the shipping sorted out still. So that might be my new favorite.
yeah,
I kind of go, but I think overall Charizard cards because we've had a lot of luck with Charizards.
yeah, we have had.
We've
pretty
had a
good
lot of luck with the
those.
Charizards. So,
Yep.
and we only started collecting with Crown Zenith, so we've we've done good. But yeah.
Turned out all right.
So, anyways, are there any other questions?
Exactly. It could be a hit or a dud.
Well,
yeah.
I look forward to seeing it. If you do a video.
Yeah.
I know that our hitbox, one thing that we got to do is start restocking that because we gave away a lot of cards on our big stream. So
Most of the hitbox gets used in Pokemon streams, so I think it's best if
Yeah.
most of the hits in there are Pokemon.
yeah,
Although we have
it's nice
dabbled
to throw
with
in a few other things.
we
just
have
random
dabbled
things.
with throwing a few other things in there at times.
How was our day?
It's been busy.
Yeah, we had to go to the city to get some shoes for the kids and some school supplies.
That was the main reason, but also Lucas was
A
just
binder
dying to
battle.
go to the city again.
Binder battle. What do you mean by binder battle?
I guess if you find multiple, just old binders you get from people, and then compare and see which one had
Yeah.
the better stuff.
Did you say I won something the other day? I won something. I don't remember if you won anything. I don't remember Jupiter win anything.
I don't know.
He might have won a spot,
I've
but then
lost
he
track.
wasn't
I was
there or
getting pretty
something.
tired.
No, I don't think you won anything. I don't remember seeing your name. I think you might have won a spot in a pack battle, but maybe you weren't there. That might have happened. But I did win the Korean Moonbryon. So, yeah, grab a binder and smack someone with the heaviest binder you can find.
I have had some historically pretty heavy binders.
Yeah, no, he would win. He would win. I don't want to do that. But yeah, oh no, yeah, so, and we got a UPC, if 151 UPC at Costco.
Yeah.
So, that's exciting.
Those are always interesting. Although, to be honest, out of the UPCs that are out there, I find it a little bit more interesting to have one that has more than one set in it. Like
the Charizard. I do want to have another Charizard one to keep sealed,
well,
but
the Celebrations one, too, had
Yeah.
other packs in it besides Celebrations.
that one's staying sealed. We're not opening that one.
Wow. I was just talking about the product. I wasn't suggesting opening one. I was just saying
Yes.
I like it when they've got more
I wasn't
variety in them.
sure. I was falling asleep the other night, and I turned. Oh, you were in Vulcan. Okay, you did go there.
Nice.
Nice. We didn't get to explore it as much as we wanted to, but I kid. I mean, take a binder and open it randomly and pick a card, bingo style.
Oh, nice. That could work, too. Yeah,
Oh, that could be fun.
it could be.
Which binder has the best value of mine? But no, I do want to get another the Charizard UPC.
I don't
to
generally
keep sealed.
number the pages in my binders. You'd have to actually count through.
Yeah.
And then do you count
Card
front
6.
and back of a page as separate pages or as one page?
And then you have to pick which binder.
Well, there's that.
Yeah. 'Cause should I do my mixed
Could be
binder of
interesting.
Sword and Shield and maybe a touch of Sun and Moon? My highest value card in that might. Oh, which one's more valuable? Is it the Giratina or the Fusion Strike Gengar VMAX? The big one. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Those are probably my
If I
current
had to guess,
two
I'd
best
say
cards.
the Giratina, but I don't know.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm sure it's easy to look up,
Yeah.
but yeah.
There are two best cards that we have.
I saw you guys
here.
short from the Starship.
Oh, yeah.
You also see the Leonard Nimoy bust
We-
and handprint?
We saw it. We drove by it.
Yeah, we drove down the main street and sort of saw it off to the side. We didn't get out and go over and get a close look. But we just drove up and down the main street and saw, some of
Okay.
the murals and the bust of Leonard Nimoy. And
550
some
for
of
the
other things.
Giratina. Lucas is in a very good mood right now.
Yeah, Lucas is finding something amusing. I'm not sure what. So Tina
Um,
is 350. He says so.
okay, 405 for the Ganger VMAX, and I'm just looking
We're looking at
Canadian
Canadian pricing
at
off of
a game store. I'm not looking at anything
so.
else, but it's 405. Those are both very nice.
They're both very good cards.
And I didn't even realize I pulled that Ganger VMAX. Like I pulled it and I put it in the binder, and then I went back when we started actually looking at values, and we're like, ooh, that's our best card. Why is it in the binder? Um,
Surprise.
yeah. So yeah, the
Yeah,
guillotine
under
is
the old
definitely.
bell. Yeah,
But once
they've got some neat stuff there. Apparently, the gift shop when we were there was a little picked over because just a week or two before that had their big
yeah,
convention in July, Star Trek convention. So yeah, they still needed to do some restocking. I was a little disappointed with the selection that we found there,
I gave him
but
the melatonin already. Why isn't he sleeping?
honestly, I think they should stock
Oh, better let the dog
some
in.
of the sets from the old Decipher Star Trek collectible card game. They're a great little collectible. It's a fun game, and it's still fairly cheap and easy to get a hold of. Like I've seen shops that sell packs of some of the sets for $2 a pack or less. And you know when the sets were new, you were charging $4 a pack typically. So like a lot of the sets are getting rare, but you could easily have some of that stuff on hand. I mean, if I had a store, I probably would just because I like it, you know. But Star Trek cards for the win. Yeah, I
Oof.
really enjoy them, and that's one of the reasons we did the openings. I recognize it's not everybody's cup of tea. That's why we saved it for
The late night
the
one.
late night one. But if anyone's interested, they can go back and review it.
Oh, there's so
And
many
I
neat
do
Gengar
plan on doing
cards.
some more. I picked up a variety of the more economical booster packs, the ones I thought would be. I picked the 5 sets that I figured would be the most interesting, most or best value to open for people to get some entertainment out of. And I picked up a box of each of those, and we've now opened 3 of them. We did the Premiere, which is the cheapest. We did the Alternate Universe, which ties in with the Premiere. It does get a bit repetitive in the commons and uncommons, but there are some interesting rares for sure, and it does have that ultra rare. We did the Rules of Acquisition, which for me was sort of the self-indulgent one of the 5 because I'd never opened it before. And we're still waiting to do Trouble with Tribbles. I think that's great because it's got the original cast from the original series as well as Deep Space Nine, and again, good value. There's an excellent ultra rare in there if you get it, and some rares that are still worth
Mm-hmm.
$5 or so. Um, and then the Borg, another popular theme and a set that's not too expensive, a little bit more than the others, but again, some good solid cards in it, and a more interesting deck to try to build separately than the Ferengi
Um,
are, from what I have gathered
I thought what else
and
this reminds
experienced.
me of? Eating maple taffy.
Fair enough. Yeah, I could see
Yeah,
that too.
reminds me of maple
But
taffy.
so yeah, those 5 sets were the ones that I was sort of recommending, and like I said, I've opened a box of 3 of the 5
Mm-hmm.
now. I've got the other 2 left to do, and if those are well enough received, I've also got a box of Mirror Mirror that I could open, and a box of Voyager. So I could even expand it out to 7 instead of 5 if people are interested. I do like Star Trek, so. But
You
then,
know what we could even do is if we have enough advance notice, we could have like a couple different things that we haven't bought yet and do a poll or have a draw or something or have like some kind of contest where people decide what we're going to open like a month out or something and then we can order something in
oh,
to
maybe
open it.
you could do something like that.
Um, just a thought.
But yeah, and like I said, over the course of the
Ooh.
year and a half before we started this channel, I had dug back into the Star Trek collecting a little bit with my brother, and I actually put together a
I
binder
crashed harder than
where
the
I was
stock market.
where I was able to
Oh
complete
my goodness.
both
Internet troubles.
sets. I got a binder with a complete set of Trouble with Tribbles and Mirror Mirror in it. And those 2 sets go nicely together thematically because they're both
Hmm.
feature the original series characters and Deep Space Nine characters. Um, like they match well
Mm-hmm.
in themes, and in gameplay. Honestly, I think it would make a great mini format to play. Um, some of the smaller factions that didn't get as much support in it, you'd have to play a treaty, but there's no treaty canceling cards in the format. So you might need to include a couple of outside cards, like a Romulan outpost, to make the Romulans playable. Um, the Romulans could then use their treaty, which is in one of those sets, with the Bajorans, so the Bajorans would be playable with the Romulans. Um, for more deck building options.
Oh, it's charged now.
And you might want to include the Deep Space Nine Bajoran wormhole, because that would make it easier for mirror universe cards to interact with non-mirror universe cards. But outside of a couple of little enabling cards like that, I think it would be a great format just on its own to play Trouble with Tribbles and Mirror Universe and Star Trek. Um, yeah, in terms of combining themes, I still find the idea of combining Borg with Tribbles absolutely terrifying.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine?
Cute little rapidly multiplying buggers that have a calming effect on the nervous system with their trilling sounds.
That makes
and
me...
if they get close to you, they could stick you and simulate you. And
that makes me think of like a virus. That would be like the
Borg Tribbles are man. That
Why hasn't nobody thought about that?
Oh, some people have.
Another thought that we could do could be fun at some point is like a booster box battle or something. So I could pick a booster box of my choice, you pick a booster box of your choice, and we see who's got like the total best value for like the whatever's considered the hits.
Yeah, it could be interesting. Again,
we'd have to find where they got the same amount of packs or something like that.
Well, maybe. It depends if you're comparing pack to pack or if you're comparing just total
box value.
And it also depends on how much you're willing to spend on.
Well,
said
no, it
box
wouldn't be
to
very,
begin
very
with.
big. I mean,
Excuse me.
another thought I had was to do mystery box exchanges with different streamers, and kind of like have a featured once a month type thing at some point.
I mean, if you're looking at the Star Trek stuff, there are several sets of Star Trek that you could get a whole box of it cheaper.
I tried battling packs by myself and no one won.
Cheaper than the cost of an ETB from Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and then you're battling, like, what? 9-10 packs against 36 or 30, depending on the spell.
Oh, sounds good. But yeah, because
that would be
with the mystery box exchange, so you can set a different budget each time. You can do like a low budget, you can do a higher budget.
Oh yeah, you can do pretty much anything in a mystery
although
box.
with us, we wouldn't have a very big high budget.
No, certainly not anytime soon.
No.
Anyway.
There's so much stuff we have to do.
Yeah.
And kids, so.
I've still got a bunch of stuff sitting on the shelf though that I want to get to sooner or later.
Yeah, I think it could be fun.
I think maybe next year for Star Wars Day it might be fun to do a Star Wars card game.
And you know, we could do it depends if we'd be up for that.
And we've still got the Harry Potter stuff too.
Just back on the mystery box exchange thing, is that whoever has the best, like whoever wins or something, the person who loses would have to either give their number one hit to the other streamer or give it to chat. That way it's, still kind of fun. So whoever loses goes to chat.
Sorry. I'm a bit behind on terms. ETB, sorry. Yes, I should have explained that.
Elite Trainer Box,
Elite Trainer Box. Yeah, basically one of those bundle box which you can't see, but I've got some Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings bundles up on the top of the shelf there, which you can't see from here.
That's
and
the closest,
Pokemon's got those for pretty much every set that come out, and you get a nice little card box.
Enter the battlefield.
8 to 10 packs
that's
or
what
whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Enter the battlefield.
No, on the ETB. He was like.
Okay. I thought maybe he was reading one of Lucas's little writings up on our China cabinet here.
Oh yeah,
but that doesn't sound like something Lucas would write.
Thomas might.
Thomas might, but not Lucas.
No. So, anyways, that's kind of what is going on.
Yeah, and that's our thoughts. And like I say, I haven't settled yet whether for Monday I'll do opening that commander pack and do just magic opening for something different, which I haven't done much of in a long time. except for, obviously the Lord of the Rings stuff we just did
We
over the
could
weekend.
we could
Or
do the 3 packs of Bloomberg that we picked up too.
well, yeah, if I was gonna do opening that, I'd probably throw in those because I'm already opening one Bloom Barrel, and anyway,
Go see if there's still those cards at Walmart. The other.
psst, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, probably
They're
not.
at that price,
Yeah.
paying $17 a pack
ETB on Magic terms is enter
when
the
you can get them at the
battlefield,
city
but
for
now
12.
I have been enlightened. I am complete. uh, anyways,
Yeah, fair enough.
Brinley fell asleep on the glider, so.
All right. I guess it's getting a bit late. This is supposed to be just a short little
It was.
summary stream, and
It
it's
was.
turned into a little bit longer than
Yeah,
that.
well, I
but-
mean, people came in and we started
Yeah.
chatting.
Oh, I
so.
love chatting anyway.
And,
so that
it's
works.
probably because we went and I didn't have the description on the live. That was probably the biggest issue, and I didn't put
Probably
the tags.
part of it.
So, although we had a short influx, and then, yeah.
Bring back Boromir, because
Yeah.
I like him.
One does not simply have a short live stream.
No. Yeah.
One does not simply drink soda when you're Canadian. You need a maple soda made in the United States.
Well, a lot of legendary creatures now. I think I get the feeling they make these more for Commander than they do for actual constructed
That is a cool
limited
picture.
play.
That is really cool. Is that supposed to be the eye behind him or something?
I think so.
Now I want to watch Star Trek and I want to watch Lord of the Rings. Can you imagine if they did like a cross? That could be fun. If you do like a cross, like where you have Star Trek characters being Lord of the Rings characters and Lord of the Rings characters being Star Trek, that could be like.
Well, that's the thing. The last couple of times we stopped at that comic shop that we went to today, I keep eyeing their little section of comic books. They've got a small section with about a dozen different comic books in it that are Star Trek themed. And one of them, that they've got a couple copies in, is a crossover where the cast from Star Trek are interacting with the X-Men.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Like that is an interesting crossover.
You could get AI to do that. That could be really funny.
Oh, I'm sure you could. Thomas likes watching all sorts of battle simulations where they take, characters from one franchise in an army and pit them against another army from a different franchise. So he's all into, what if so and so or what group fought this group from that other thing, and yeah, you've got Metroids from the Nintendo games coming up against not just even Star Fox and other Nintendo games, but coming up against Star Wars characters with the Force. And
what
coming
if,
up against,
what was that? StarCraft.
Oh, who knows?
What if StarCraft got into Candyland in Wreck-It Ralph?
I don't know.
That can you imagine?
They probably wouldn't find much of that mineral that they need to collect to get going. That's another whole thing.
No, they'd have to find a
Who
substitute.
would win, the Ewoks or some very angry hobbitses?
Ewoks.
Mm.
Ewoks. Wicket all the way. I love Wicket and his brothers.
It's hard to say. Very angry hobbitses.
Ewoks.
You have the more seasoned Merry and Pippin from the Scouring of the Shire to develop their tactics.
Yeah, but Ewoks have hand gliders. They know how to fly. And they have their spears. And they would,
They did take the Shire back. But again, they're fighting
Ewoks.
against untrained ruffians. So
that could be
that's
fun
not
to
a very...
see, like, hobbits battle Ewoks.
It could be.
The Ewoks take the Shire. Ooh, Ewoks, Lord of the Rings. That could be fun.
I used to play Warhammer Fantasy, and the armies I collected early on. Well, the army books that I collected at that time still had. Well, you can have up to 25% of your army as allies, so from allied army lists. So I used to collect a little bit of wood elves and a little bit of dwarves to put with my Bretonians, you know. And I managed to collect a unit of halfling soldiers from the Empire, just with bows and stuff too. And all the stuff I collected early on, especially, was very sort of Lord of the Rings inspired because I was reading the novels at that time, and yeah, so I had an orc and goblin army for the bad guys, and I had my Bretonians as my main good guys, but eventually I had enough wood elves and enough dwarves to try to make small armies independently for them and things like that. So
Mm.
it was interesting times, and I still have most of the models kicking around, although some of the bigger ones, which I got secondhand in the first place, have started to fall apart, and I don't have, much glue around and stuff.
I need to.
My problem was I actually listened to the army books, and the army books would tell me, yeah, here's some special characters that you can include as part of your army, and you can include allies from other army lists in part of your army, and then I would build my armies using that, and then I would show up to an event, and this local store would tell me, no, you can't use characters from the army book, they're not fair. No, you can't mix armies together. No, you have to stick to one army. You can't. So the armies I made and brought and prepared were, I ended up having to use them crippled because, oh, I don't actually have a full army now because I have to give away one of my big characters, and the only thing I have to try to fill in some of those points is, an extra great eagle or something, which
So why did the
is less
stores do
than
that?
half of it.
Because they did
To
their
try
own
to
thing?
make it a unified, more fair play environment, I guess, but it sure didn't help me out when I'm just showing up for
Still
the first
waiting
time
for
reading
you
off
to
the
read the
books.
entire Lord of the Rings books for bedtime. It would feel like being adopted. Well, you know what you could do? You could do that. You could do like read a chapter
Pick
and
a
then
page.
read a chapter and then put it up or something, or
Who knows? Just do my own
yeah.
audiobooks sub thing, and
Could you get in trouble for that, for reading and putting it up?
not if you're putting it up for free. If you're charging for it, I think you can, but
Well, we're not monetized right now, so I don't know if once we got monetized, if they would make a thing about it.
who knows?
So we wouldn't charge it aside from just people watching our videos, right?
Yeah, it also depends on what you're reading. Obviously, if it's something old enough that the trademarks and copyrights have fallen off of, then
Lord of the Rings
it's
hasn't
public
yet.
domain. Then it's never going to be an
No.
issue. But yeah, I think it's still the copyright.
Unless you read like just a
gotta be
short
more
portion
careful.
of it.
Well, that's the thing too. Like I've often considered discussing history topics,
Yeah.
and I've got those books that have a big timeline of the world that I was thinking you could show sort of this is related to these, and then zoom in and change where the time
You're seeing
period
some
was.
different people
But
coming in.
if those books are probably trademarked, so how much are you allowed to show as a reference without getting into trouble of things like the images that they've made for timelines? Like
I see
I'd
our
have to do some research.
I see our chat numbers going up and down, but if you're just coming in and you want to see everything, go back to the beginning and see the review.
And every so often I
Yeah.
hold up a card, which,
Yeah.
I've got the highlights here handy. This was my
So-
box topper from Magic Lord of the Rings. I rather enjoyed it.
It is a nice looking card.
It is a nice looking card, and it's a very thematic card. And it was my first ever box topper from the Realms and
Yeah.
Relics. So, it's not a bad one.
No.
And this was mine. Again,
This
foil
is
rare.
just Papa Spocat's highlights. We did a short video
Foil
of my
rare
highlights.
from the Lord of the Rings.
Release the River. Gimli's my favorite. My favorite.
Trying to get
Character.
the glint to go the right way to catch
Yeah.
the highlights in his beard. Anyway.
But yeah. Oh, we're tired. We
I'm-
should probably call it a
I'm
night,
still fairly
but-
new to the Decipher Lord of the Rings game, so it's nice when I encounter people who have more experience with it than I do. And, can correct me and explain a few more details to me. So that's good.
So anyways, what are your top favorite hits from the
This quark.
Star Wars and your toss me? I said toss me, don't tell
Greedy,
me.
treacherous, smuggling, acquiring, diplomatic, anthropology, knowing, computer skill, specialist, Ferengi Quark.
My favorite Ferengi.
And his brother Rom.
Wasn't he like kind of not very smart?
Which, Rom?
Yeah.
Again, with the cunning that can be either very high or quite low.
Okay, so it depends on the situation.
Depends on the situation. He was good at hiding that he was smart.
Yeah.
Because sometimes he had to do that.
So your favorite Lord of the Rings Decipher card, your favorite MTG card, and your favorite Star Trek card is what?
From the polls?
Yeah.
From what I pulled over the weekend, having not played with many of the Lord of the Rings stuff yet, I need to actually start building some decks.
How about we just go art-wise, or whatever?
But yeah, well, art-wise, I don't know. I really do like the box topper from the Magic Lord of the Rings, which I just showed.
But does that count as a pull?
I don't know. It is a pack that you had to
I like
open.
the art on this one.
I do like the art on the Sauron for sure.
The art on this one's nice.
I was very glad to get another Delighted Halfling because it's a good handy card for deck building. But getting an 8th Nazgul was great. I still don't have 9 Nazgul though. So that's a bit of a bummer. But another Orcish Bowmaster is always nice.
Have you played the Risk Lord of the Rings board games? If so, what's your thoughts on it? That was the board we had down.
Yeah, that was the board I had down as a background. I have played it. I like the.
It's been a while since we played it.
I like the Return of the King full trilogy board that I was using better than the Two Towers one that cuts the board off at Rohan. Having the extra countries in there for Harad, Rune, and Gondor really does add quite a bit to that map, and helps the experience, in my opinion. The extra rules with the traveling of the ring, I could take them or leave them, but I've always liked Risk just in general. I do find it a bit funny that even with the expanded board, they kept it to just 4 armies available, because the original Risk you could have up to 6 armies. Well, at least most versions of it. There might have been ones that had even more than that. But yeah, I enjoy Risk, and I certainly enjoy Lord of the Rings Risk. Although not quite as much as I enjoy the cooperative 5-player versus the game Lord of the Rings board game that I've got. I think that one was done even better. But it's a very different type of game. But yeah, I played both versions of that Lord of the Rings Risk.
So, question for everybody who's here. What do you think of our logo? Do you like it?
She tried messing with the colors, so we've got.
Oh, I did. Version. Yes. I did play around with the colors. There's like a gold version that I played around with, and I kind of like
Cooperative Lord of the Rings board game. Yeah, I'll have to pull that out and show you one of these days. It's good fun.
Oh.
You gotta again get the ring to Mordor and destroy it. And the game is pretty harsh on you, and the ring bearer might get corrupted, and sometimes you might have to try and pass the ring off to somebody else who's less corrupted. And yeah, there's different cards and resources. You gotta
BYO. Oh, beautiful, that logo. Yeah, Marshall did a really good job on it.
You can even play with 5 hobbits. Up to. You can play 2 to 5 hobbits, and if you're playing with the 5th, it's not just Merry, Pippin, Sam, and Frodo. You've also got Fredegar Bulger, who didn't make the film, but at least not in any significant way with lines that I'm aware of. But he was in the book, and he stayed behind to distract the Nazgul while the other 4 slipped out of the Shire. So he's actually quite a powerful card in the game, character in the game, but you can't use him unless you're playing with all 5 players, which
your
balances
glasses
things
reflecting
otherwise.
off of the iPads.
It is.
Off your glasses.
Yes. I've even got a Lord of the Rings chessboard. So
I love the new logo. Yeah, me too. It's so nice.
I've been a fan of Lord of the Rings ever since I first heard about it in high school, but I didn't actually read it through.
We need
for
to do our
till
banner though now, because if you go to our YouTube channel page, you see the banner at the top. It doesn't. Our logo doesn't go as nicely with the banner, so I'm not sure how to do that. What we're gonna do for that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't keep watching this. My wallet will divorce me. Yeah, well, we're about to go to bed because we're still recovering from the 24-hour stream.
Yeah. And we do have to get up tomorrow morning to get other things done. So
Yeah, lots of stuff to do before first day of school. I'm not ready. I mean, I know a lot of parents are excited for the kids to go back to school, but if you're a parent of kids with special needs, sometimes it's a little bit more work to be ready for.
and sometimes you
back to
get
school.
unexpected curveballs. Sometimes they're pleasant, like Lucas giggling away in the other room and just finding something horrendously amusing. Sometimes they're him freaking out and really wanting to go for a trip somewhere that
Oh yeah,
you hadn't planned to
we
do at
weren't
all.
necessarily planning on going to the city today, but
So,
we ended up having a sitter willing
aside
to
from the kids needing shoes,
help us.
that was another motivation because
Yeah.
Lucas was very adamant that he wanted a road trip somewhere, and
Yeah, he got the cooler from downstairs. He put the ice in it,
yeah,
the ice bottles, because
He
we
was
just put water in pop
doing
bottles.
everything he could to
and freeze
motivate us out the doors.
He wanted to go out the door right away first thing in the morning. He's like, "Yeah, we need to go." Even though what was it, Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday we went to the city. So and then he's like, "Yeah, no, we're going again."
Yeah. Oh, about a couple of years ago, I was reading through the Harry Potter series with the kids, and that went pretty well for a while. But
They just keep us talking. They don't want us to leave.
well, sometimes. But yeah, I haven't done the Lord of the Rings with them. We have put it on. I've got the audiobooks sometimes on long road trips a little bit, and we've been watching through the movies. Did we ever finish that?
We watched the movies many times, but I don't think we
with
finished
the
it
kids,
the last
Abram
time.
was wanting to watch. He watched through the Lord of the Rings. It was the Hobbit movies. Did you ever get to the last Hobbit movie?
I don't think so. I think he got there was just the last one he didn't watch.
Yeah, we should put that on.
Oh
before he
wow,
gets
we
back to school.
briefly lost connection.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the other thing I wanted to do this weekend was
shoot,
have a
mine.
campfire for the kids in the
We can do
backyard.
it tomorrow, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, Wi-Fi is on. Okay.
Anyway,
Um.
we should be wrapping things up anyway. It is
Yes.
past bedtime.
So please feel free to message us or leave a comment for what you'd like to
Got
see us
any
do.
ideas? Do you want to share or whatnot?
We have ideas, but we gotta write them down because we forget them before we do them.
Yep.
So I was actually thinking of getting different stores to do a mystery box for us too. We'll give them a budget and be like, let's see what store gives us the best value and what we get the best hits and stuff like that. So yeah, it's 11:28 here, so it is time for bed.
It is.
Oh yeah, it's late for Becca. All right, guys. We appreciate you all. Thank you for watching and hanging out. And if you guys do want to go and rewatch any of our streams or videos that you missed, please do. We're working hard trying to get to the monetized level there. Even though when we started this, we didn't we didn't necessarily aim for that, but it just kind of took off, and we're like, hey, we could probably do something here. It's fun. We enjoy it. And we appreciate everyone here that we've met along the way. Some more than others, the ones that are nice.
It's good when anyone drops in. Everybody's got to learn at some point.
Yeah.
And every channel handles things a little differently.
Yeah.
So it's understandable mistakes in some ways.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But we do try to keep it.
No, I mean, like, the ones that actually intentionally go around and be rude.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You do.
So
we haven't seen too much of that,
no,
thankfully.
It happens once in a while, and thankfully they get the point, and they're like, oh, they're no fun, and they just keep going. But we just don't, we don't deal with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Blessings all. I still need to sort this pile of Onslaught rares here, especially if that's what I'm doing, so...
Oh, yeah. I knew I wasn't loved as much as Becca. Becca, we love you very much. Thank you for being awesome.
Ooh,
Alias,
sorry.
we appreciate you so much.
On
You're
screen
growing on
should be
us.
avoided.
Yeah. You've earned the mod badge. Oh yeah, and bulk cards are awesome. Oh, I've got so much bulk. We've got to get rid of some.
Yeah, we need to find some more.
Go trade away our bulk
Better
for
cards.
actual stuff.
Well, maybe.
I just don't like the whole having to sort it out stuff.
Yeah, well, there's always that.
So,
Anyhow.
because the stores that buy it here, they like it.
Speaking of sorting cards. Anyways.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry. Keep talking. All right, guys. We love you all. We really do. Thank you for hanging out
We're
with us.
getting repetitive.
Of course we are.
Yes.
That's what happens when we get tired, and then you just need something to like just set us off in a laughing fit. Or me, because that's what I do when I'm tired. All right, thank you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Yep. Bye
Have a
for
good
now.
night.
Have
Or
a good
morning,
night.
or afternoon.
Whatever it is, wherever you are.
Because we know people watch us from all different times. So.
Yeah.
Or you see the video.
We
At
hope
a
you
different
all
time.
have a rest of whatever
Rest
is left
of
of your
festive
night.
day, morning.
Bye for now.
Catch you soon. Good night, Alias. Good night, Jay Bear. Good night, Becca. And good night to all the lurkers out there. We really do appreciate you. We like the. It's fun to converse with people, but we appreciate those that just want to, listen and support us in any way they can.
Yep.
So, bye. Have a good night.